Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curious to Box, and this is the second edition of my weekly vlog. To like my t-shirt. Yes, after one day of hairbrushing, my hair usually is allowed to be itself. Especially when I just jump out my bed to go downstairs and do art. My hair's not the most important feature of doing art. So this is the second week of my weekly vlog, and I'm filming in my bedroom because I got some feedback saying people really like my bedroom, so I shall be filming in my bedroom from now on. Because you get a bed there, and then up there when it's not really shiny, that's the other poster that is exactly the same Ben. So you get that Ben, and you get that Ben. So Benedict Cumberbatch lovers, you always get a Benedict Cumberbatch if I film in my bedroom. So yeah, he got the big chocolate Benedict Cumberbatch got eaten. Well, he got a lot of his fingers broken off and his nose was broken off. Now I would have licked him too if I'd been in the area, but I wasn't, and then I thought, ooh, people licking him, imagine somebody licked him and then somebody licked him straight after on the same spot, they get those people's germs. I thought, you. But yes, I would have licked him. Yay, I forgot all about Thunderbirds this morning. I watched Thunderbirds last week and it is brilliant. I loved it. It was amazing. I loved the mix of the model sort of environment and the CGI characters, and especially the water. I really like the water, and I love loading them into the spaceships. I love that bit because it's so cool. It's like shoots him down the thing, tilts him round, they go through a tunnel. It's like roller coaster rides for every one of them, and it's amazing. And I loved all the movement and colours. But last week for the premiere, it was on at 5 PM on Saturday, and now it's Saturday again, and it was on 8 AM, and I completely forgot. So, but I think it might be repeated on Sundays, but don't quote me on that, I'm not sure, but I've heard it might be. So I completely forgot about it. So they should have kept it 5 PM Saturdays. Even if they do put it over onto CITV, the other channel, then they should have kept it 5 PM Saturdays. But it is awesome. I love the new Thunderbirds, and I'm totally going to get the new Tracy Island. So this week I have been doing art. This week I mostly been working on this piece of art, which features the 11th Doctor and me, and we're camping in a field at, I'm going to say, sunrise. And Matt Smith has just engineered a special moment. So that's my picture. All my pictures are, but I don't really want to say what I interpret my pictures as, because it's kind of a secret until I've made them. So that's the picture I've mostly been working on this week. And Friday evening I did a couple of portraits. Yeah, this was the new comic I did for when it came out on Monday. So it's all about me at high school and how I managed to get through the day. So it's got me rocking on my chair, me scribbling over my brand new Smash It stickers on my pencil case, all my doodles, what I used to do when I used to hide in the library with a point horror book, and when I used to play Pogs. So you can see a close-up view of that on my blog, autisticinnerspace.wordpress.com. Yay! So on Friday evening I did this portrait of Nick Clegg. So you can see all these properly on my blog. And then I felt a bit guilty because I made him look sad and I wanted to give him a big hug. You look sad on my picture. That's what happens when I draw people sad. I feel guilty and just want to give them big hugs. But I really like to draw myself with the Doctor Who people, because there's an artist who is amazing, who does fantastic and fabuloso portraits, and they're really cool, and he's amazing. With my art, I like to put myself into the story, so I experience a story. Because if I just did straight portraits of everybody, I'd feel, well, there's no way I'm going to be as good as that person. So I'd just stick with my own style and my own style of putting myself in my pictures and sort of being with the characters in a moment. So I like doing that. And I like doing collage, because I get loads of free catalogues from the shops. I always pick up the free catalogues so I can do my collage. So you can do art and it doesn't have to be really expensive at all. You just get free catalogues from the shops. And then it's really cheap, and all you need is scissors and glue, and you can do some really amazing stuff for very little cost. So that was my portrait of Nick Clegg, and then I drew Richard Osman from Pointless. Then I have a request for George Clooney from my auntie. So this week Alfie Days was on this morning. Sorry, that was my crocodile. Alfie Days was on this morning talking about how he gave up all his education to smear chocolate on his face and how he has no girls taught. And then somebody on Twitter said that's not a very good role model for all his tween and teen fans, that he just, but then he gets paid loads of money for it. So I am incredibly jealous that he gets paid all this money for doing very little, and just doing very little that requires any thinking or thought or attention to what is actually going on in the world. And that's the thing with YouTube, it's annoying and you get jealous because they're making millions of pounds for not really putting much thought into it, and that's annoying. But it's like a vicious circle of he does inane silly stuff, and then his fans ask for more inane silly stuff, and then he does more inane silly stuff, and they ask for more silly stuff. And then I noticed on Twitter when he was like swearing a bit and just being an actual person, they were saying, why are you being so rude, Alfie? Why are you being so rude? Is that he's just trying to not be an daft producing stuff machine, because that's what all it is for them. Is that if you get for them, if they got famous talking about lipstick, that's kind of what they're stuck into doing, talking about lipstick. Because seems like if they would dare to veer off and talk about politics or something, their fans say, oh no, talk about lipstick, put that hat on, do that silly thing. So I'm kind of glad I'm not stuck in a circle of just having to do one thing, and that I can do anything I like without, and also that I'm not with a management company like Gleam that tells you you've got to have a certain image and this is how you got famous on YouTube, so now you're stuck doing that. So I'm glad I don't have that. So yes, my weekly vlog, so when I'm really honest and not so scared about insulting people or people hating on me, because I don't know. Another thing I noticed on YouTube, which is about Geekbox and monthly subscription box openings and stuff is the blokes, they always seem to use these massive knives to open their boxes, and it's like, oh, let me just get my sword to open this tiny box, and it's totally, look how big my willy is, look, I can open a box with this massive knife. And that's why I just thought that was amusing, that a load of the blokes on these surprise box openings, they always get massive knives out to, oh yeah, just get my knife out. It's like, why? Today, for my Geekbox video, I'm going to use scissors. Just sensible, boring scissors, because they do the job and I don't need a massive penis to open my box with. I mean... So this week they had the programmes about David Cameron and Nick Clegg. I thought they was interesting, but they blurred a bit. Like when David Cameron was in his house, and I think they blurred it because he was doing stuff that was about national security, and it might, like, oh no, it might show stuff, but I thought he was wanking. That was the first thought, and in my head, well, I sort of knew what it was about, important stuff, but I thought he was wanking, so I thought that was funny. And I started watching the Nick Clegg one because I really fancy him, but I was off like getting some art stuff out and stuff, so I didn't watch all of it. But I just don't know at the moment, because I loved that bit where Nick Clegg's talking about how when they're in the Houses of Parliament and how it's David Cameron and Ed Miliband, because Nick Clegg isn't allowed to step up and shout or do anything. He has to sit there and he has to put this veneer on his face of just being sensible, when really he's thinking they're both idiots. So, and he said he shouts at him, he tells him he's rubbish, and he tells him he's rubbish, and he gets really frustrated. But obviously you can't trust anything politicians say because it's all propaganda. So and it's getting really like quite sort of stressful, because obviously everybody's on Twitter talking about it, but luckily there's loads of jokes and levity on Twitter, so that helps. But otherwise I get really stressed where a load of the politicians are being complete dickheads. Because when something happens on TV that I really don't agree with, I can really lose my temper, and I just get so angry, especially in soaps. Mum does too. She's like, oh, he's a little dickhead. It's like, we get really angry when the bad guys are on, and it's quite funny. But when it's politics, it's really hard work, and I get really angry with newsreaders because how they twist what they say, and some of the time they're really patronising, and it really pisses me off how they can be so patronising. It's really annoying. So what else happened this week? So yeah, so mostly this week I've been working on my art, but also I want to do more portraits, and I just get frustrated because like I expect that I show people on Twitter things and my brain thinks they are sat right next to their computer and are going to say something straight away, and then I get really upset because I put loads of effort into my art, and then because that's what it is modern days, is people just either favour or like. You don't really get much conversation like when you offer something up, because I do the art because I want to do the art because I love it, and I want to get paid for some illustrations eventually. When you offer it up to people for approval and that's my sort of my insecurity, is like I feel like I'm offering it up for approval, and then then when people don't reply straight away, and that, or they just like or favourite, and I really appreciate all the likes and favourites. It's like, that's when the thoughts in my head start going round like, oh, I'm not really good, or I'm rubbish and stuff. But because it feels like there's people sat right next to their computer ready to reply. But I must remember that even if every single person on the planet doesn't say something about my art, there are some really awesome and lovely people who take the time out to say they like my art, and I really appreciate that. It's just my brain sometimes forgets it and puts me on a bit of a downer. But I do have 3 fully formed ideas in my head for my next art pieces, which are going to be like my Doctor Who art pieces. And I've got a request from my auntie for one of my portraits, which is George Clooney, and I just looked him up on my iPad, and it looks really easy to draw, so hopefully that shouldn't be too difficult. But I bought some skin tone pens, and I'm slightly annoyed with them because Pro markers, I like Pro markers, they're really good, but these other skin tone pens, they don't colour round evenly. So if anybody, you know when you colour in a face in with a skin tone pen, but you just want to use all the same colour across because you like the effect, how do I reduce the bits where the pen streak? Because if it's only a little pen, then obviously I can't fill it in and run. So how do I sort of disguise the lines when my bits of colouring join up? I find that difficult, but most of the time it fades back a bit and looks okay. But I prefer Pro markers over these new skin tone pens I got, because unless it's like a tiny face, and then I can colour it in one go. So I don't really know what to say. So yeah, do you like my t-shirt? I already said that. I just tried to take a video of my cat so I can make it go viral, but my cat is annoying because he knows when I'm filming something with my iPad, because just before my iPad he's like, meow, Aaron, 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 meow, meow. Then as soon as I press the button, it's like, and then when I unpress it, he's like, meow, meow. It's like, oh, it's so annoying, because I was trying to film a really close-up video of his face, but he wouldn't turn his face around, so I'm going to keep trying, because as soon as you got a viral video of your cat, you're a millionaire. So, not that I do everything for the money, but I just want to be a famous artist. And I think my category is, I don't know what my category is, surrealism, but I'd love to know what the art critics actually think of my art. That's what I want to know. I don't want to say, oh, that's rubbish, the skill on that is rubbish. I want to say, like, what, the emotions, what psychological reading do they read from my art? That would be really interesting. So yeah, so this next week I will mostly be doing more art, lusting over Poldark, trying to catch up with Thunderbirds, and doing some more ASMR videos. Because for a while I've been a little tiny dissatisfied with my view count on some of my videos, because I've been like reviewing dolls and I've had like 12, 15 views, and after a while it's still on 12, 15 views. So I was wondering why my view count went down so much. So, but I got feedback saying they like my bedroom, and the view counts on my new ASMR videos are quite good. So I'm quite pleased with the view counts on those. So I'll be filming more in my bedroom and doing more ASMR videos. So, yeah. So, I think that's all I have to say for my weekly vlog for now, unless I think of something else and add it on to the end. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!